Small is the new big. Small thinks big, and small walks tall. Small is agile and can adapt to any circumstance. Small is efficient because small is smart. Small can be savvy, and small can be spicy. They say that good things come in small packages. And at this moment, big things are happening for small-medium enterprises.
Introduction of SME in Malaysia. In Malaysia, SME we are defined as follow. Manufacturing sector, sales turnover not exceeding RL 15 millions or number of full-time employees not exceeding 200. Meanwhile, service sector and other sector, sales turnover not exceeding RL 200 millions or number of full-time employees not exceeding 75. Financial needs of SME. Three purpose and is need financing. First, to purchase equipment. Second, to purchase inventory. Third, to increase working capital. First, to purchase equipment. Equipment is a vital part of any business. They will have a couple of choice regarding to acquisition of equipment, either buy it or the lease it. Consideration will be taken because both options have their benefit and drawback respectively. Second, to purchase inventory. Inventory is a business asset because it has a value that the business can sell it to produce revenue. Some small business are seasonal in the future, particularly retail business. Lastly, to increase working capital. It is important because it is a measure of a company's ability to pay off short-term debts and expenses.
Next, we are going to financing problems. What are the financial challenges that a business likely to face? The first one is insufficient working capital. It is a responsible entrepreneur must have working capital worth at least 6 months of expenses. Without money in hand, the company will not have the breathing space required to acquire new customer or build more products, and it may be the major cause of closing the business organization. For example, any company involved in manufacturing food products have a shortage working capital due to poor inventory management. Thus, the company cannot purchase raw material and payment of labor and other expenses cannot be made on time. The solution are, any company should reducing the lead time of orders. A smaller lead time will need less inventory on hand and make product demand forecast is the best way to predict future stock demand. Next, underestimating estimated startup cost. Most of entrepreneurs tend to underestimate how much starting a business will cost them. It is because the higher figures and worrying bank may not be willing to finance their startup. But the reality is quite different. Banks look for realistic plans when approving investment. If entrepreneurs borrow less money than required, they could run out too soon and will need to borrow again later. Other than that, entrepreneurs are routinely too optimistic about how quickly sales will build and their business will sustain itself. To overcome this problem, when entrepreneurs trying to measure how much to borrow, estimate not just data expenses but also how much cash need to cover day-to-day expenses. The other financing problem is late client payment. It is an amount of money a borrower sends to a lender or service provider that arrive after the date that the payment was due or after a grace period for the payment has passed. A large percentage of small business suffer from delayed payments. If it happens too often, it can eventually kill the business. So the best solution are Avoid offering business credit to new customers. Make sure everyone is clear about payment policies, chasing payment immediately when it becomes overdue, and invoicing correctly and promptly.
There are a few measures to ease financing problems of SME. The first measure is SME Bank. SME Bank is one of Malaysia's leading development financial institute. SME Bank is established in 2005 and fully owned by the Ministry of Finance and regulated by Bank Negara Malaysia. SME Bank provides financial assistance and development expertise to small and medium business enterprises. Here are some examples of financial assistance provided by SME Bank towards small and medium enterprises in Malaysia. Next, we have Tabung Usahawan Siswaza, or known as TUS. TUS is a loan scheme from the government which provides loans to graduates in Malaysia in order to help them start their own business. The program was launched in 1998 in order to tackle high unemployment rates in Malaysia at that time. TUS helped motivate many graduates to enter in the field of business, and TUS also won the ATIQAH Outstanding Development Projects Awards in 2016 under the Human Capital Development category. How TUS helps SME in Malaysia? TUS provides Malaysian graduates a loan funding between RM20,000 to RM250,000 for startups depending on the nature of their business. TUS is a program coordinated by the SME Bank. The money received can be used as fixed assets or working capital. Debtors should pay back their loan together with a 4% interest within 10 years and a maximum grace of 2 years. And last, we have Tekun Nasional. Tekun Nasional, previously known as Tekun Nasional Foundation. Tekun Nasional is an agency under Ministry of Entrepreneur Development established on 9 November 1998. Its objective is to provide simple and quick financing facilities to Bumiputras in order to kickstart and further expand their business. How Tekun Nasional helps SME in Malaysia? Tekun Nasional has many financing schemes in order to help SME in Malaysia, such as Young Agripreneur Program, which helps agriculture business, Fisherman Financing Program, which helps fishermen in their business, Tekun Niaga Financing Scheme, which help entrepreneur, and Temanita Financing Schemes, which helps women in starting up their business.
In reality, there are quite a few potential sources of finance for SMEs. However, many of them have practical problems that may limit their usefulness. One of the potential sources of finance for SMEs is the SME owner, family and friends. This is potentially a very good source of finance because these investors may be willing to accept a lower return than many other investors, as their motivation to invest is not purely financial. The key limitation is that for most of us, the finance that we can raise personally and from friends and family is somewhat limited. Second is the business angel. A business angel is a wealthy individual willing to take the risk of investing in SMEs. One limitation is that these individuals are not common and are very often quite particular about what they are prepared to invest in. Once a business angel is interested, they can become very useful to the SME, as they will often have great business acumen themselves and are likely to have many useful contacts. Other sources of financing for SME is trade credit. SMEs, like any company, can take credit from their suppliers. However, this is only short-term, and indeed, if their suppliers are larger companies who have identified them as a potential risky SME, the abilities to stretch the credit period may be limited. For factoring and invoice discounting, both of these sources of finance effectively let a company raise finance against the security of their outstanding receivables. Leasing is also one of the potential sources of finance for SME. Leasing assets rather than buying them is often very useful for an SME as it avoids the need to raise the capital cost. However, leasing is only really possible on tangible assets such as cars, machines, and others. Besides, bank finance also can be the source of finance for SME. Banks may be willing to provide an overdraft of some sort and may be willing to lend in the long term where that lending can be secured on major assets such as land and buildings. However, raising medium-term finance to fund operations is often more difficult for SMEs as banks are traditionally rather conservative. This is understandable as the loss on one default loan requires many good loans to recover that loss.
Why do government help finance SME? Government are often keen to assist as to the extent that the SMEs are unable to raise finance for their profitable projects. Investment opportunities are potentially lost and hence national wealth is lower than it could be. In addition, government keen to support innovation, which is one area where SMEs often excel and are keen to support the growth of SMEs as this boosts employment. Next is how do government help finance SME? There are several ways on how government could help. The first one is providing grants. Next one is providing advice. Example, in Scotland, there is a government-funded organisation known as Business Gateway, which provides assistance to those setting up and running a business, including advice on raising finance. The third one is providing tax breaks. Tax incentive may be available to those willing to take risks in investing in SMEs. Guaranteeing loans for a small fee from SME, a large proportion of any loan advanced by a bank is guaranteed by the government. As this reduces the risk of the bank, they are potentially more willing to lend. The last one is providing equity investment. Many countries have government-backed venture capital organizations that are willing to invest in the equity of SMEs. This is often done on a matching basis where the organization will match any equity investment raised from other sources.